Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to do this again, this time with The Social Network. Man, and I don't know if I like that in the shot. Alright, so today I'm doing The Social Network, and it is interesting because yesterday I did The Peanut Butter Falcon. So this is the very next day. It's March 17th, yeah. So it's the very next day. I don't think I'll get this video out today, but I figured I'd just start working on it because, it's spring break. I'm doing all my schoolwork, and now I'm just like itching to do something. And so here we go. Now I'm going to talk about The Social Network. First off, is this movie made for everyone? And the answer is no, it's not. It's one of those movies you would have to watch multiple times to understand what's going on, because there's a lot of back and forth and different timelines. And plus the movie's really technical. Not to say you couldn't enjoy it your first watch, but it is really not for everyone. For example, my sister, when she first watched this movie, she's like, Dalton, I cannot watch this because I do not understand what's going on. I, however, kept giving the movie chances and wanted to understand what was going on and try to figure it out. And once you figure it out and once you understand the movie, it is a great movie. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. What is this movie about? What is it about? Oh, nope, it's not about Facebook. Well, DHYS, if it's not about Facebook, then what's the movie about?
I have certain feelings about it because it's about Facebook, but it's really not about Facebook at all.
It's not a movie about a website. Yes, that is one of the elements of it, but it's about number 5 or 6 on the list of what this movie's actually about.
The thing that grabbed me was that there are elements in this story that are as old as storytelling itself, of friendship and loyalty, jealousy, class, power, betrayal.
Yes, it is a story about betrayal. Have you ever been betrayed? Have you ever had to deal with that shit? I have, and you know what? And I'm sure you have too. But, it fucking sucks. So the movie follows Mark Zuckerberg, and he's with his friend, Eduardo Saverin, and together they create Facebook. And in the movie, they kind of touch on the idea that Mark only created Facebook to get back at a girl, despite a girl. And he had trouble getting girls and just wanted girls, and so he created Facebook, essentially. But then Facebook, took off and became its, own thing, and the story writes itself because you know the story. Facebook is pretty much dominating the world at this point. Here, let's get back to how this usually is. Something like this. Isn't this how I usually shoot these videos? Anyways, Facebook becomes this huge thing, and the betrayal comes in whenever Mark screws his friend Eduardo Saverin out of the company because of some jealousy, or it's not really clear, and I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but it is a good movie. It's a technical achievement, and the director of this movie is David Fincher, who's the same guy who did Fight Club, which I've already talked about and tried to do a video on, but I feel like I failed in a way. But anyways, if you're a filmmaker and you've seen The Social Network, you should know this, but the behind the scenes are a mandatory. They are a masterclass on film, and I even argue that the behind the scenes is better than the actual movie, which is saying something. You see the whole process, you see the CGI, you see the writing, all that. And speaking of the writing, the writer of this movie is Aaron Sorkin, who is just a phenomenal writer.
Of people saying, wait a second, am I supposed to, feel empathy for a guy who, he may not be taken seriously, but surely somebody cut him a check, and he's 21 and he's got a few $1 million in his pocket. I'm supposed to feel empathy because the big guys weren't taking him seriously? I could definitely feel empathy for a guy who got, really wronged by a girl.
But he did get wronged by a girl. If you look at the first scene, the last thing
He didn't. Sean did.
His movies have a rhythm to them, his scripts. It's man, I wish he would write more scripts, but I understand that writing scripts is a pain in the ass. His scripts are phenomenal, and he's developed a name for himself just from writing scripts. Does this movie hold up? Yes. I mean, it came out in 2010. That's that's 14 years ago now. That's insane. It's worth watching, but with that said, it's not for everyone. If you're just an average person, you're not going to enjoy this movie. But if you're someone who's striving to create something, or wanting to get into business, or you're just itching for a great story, this is a good story, but it's complicated, and it's complicated to follow. Me, I had to watch this movie 4 or 5 times just to grasp it, and I would only watch the movie because I wanted to see these certain scenes in the movie because I was a young boy, and So it's one of those movies where if I would recommend it, it would depend on who you are. But it is really a good movie, and I would like to go back and I wish I could have seen this movie in theaters. I remember when I first saw the trailer drop, and it was one of those trailers that kind of created this whole new movement of trailers where they don't do any dialogue or anything. They just have music and B-roll and the title, and then that's it. And that sparked a whole new movement for trailers, I remember. And it was just man, that's a dope trailer, and I can't wait to see this movie, even though at the time I was probably 12, 14 years old when this movie came out. But I've watched this movie a ton. The acting's phenomenal. Jesse Eisenberg is great as Mark. Andrew Garfield as Eduardo Saverin.
Yeah, no,
so angry and so hurt.
where the betrayal began.
So angry and so hurt
Yeah.
at the same time. Both
I think obviously the nature of betrayal, being betrayed by your brother, which is how I see the relationship with Mark. That's the universal theme for me. It's man's inhumanity to man. It's Cain and Abel, and I found that was enough. That was that was the core to really explore the destruction that someone can do to you, and having the opportunity to fight, to not allow that destruction to take over your life, and to find a bravery and a strength and a self-worth in amongst someone telling you that you're worth less than nothing. That is something very, very powerful and strong to try to play.
He sums it on the desk.
Yeah. And all the supporting cast, it's just great, and it's edited beautifully. It's funny though, because in the behind the scenes, who the hell's calling me? Hey. Yeah, I'll eat. Be there in about 10 minutes. Dang. I have the best landlords ever. They made me a goodie bag of gumbo. They made some gumbo, and so hey, come get some gumbo. And I was all right. So I went and grabbed me some gumbo. They did give me some bad news though, which is that they're probably gonna sell this place in a few months. So I'll have to be out of here soon, or we're gonna move somewhere else, or we're gonna go somewhere else. But we'll cross that road whenever we get there. So nothing too awful soon, but it will happen eventually. Probably, and they said probably at the end of the semester. So yeah, so that's great because I can focus on school, get this semester done. But yeah, anyways, The Social Network, I think I've said all I need to say about it, and hopefully the B-roll will save me in the edit. I don't know. Y'all have seen the video. I have not yet. But anyways, yeah. I think that's it.